Now, we had Hiba, who is a DLD expert, as our guest last week, and you had a lot of questions about how to operate under lockdown to her. She is back by popular demand, and I will now hand over to Lynette to drive the Q&A session. Lynette?
Nice to be here with all of you today. I would like to introduce Hiba Jabbar from Dubai Land Department, Dubai Real Estate Institute. For over a decade, Hiba has been a consultant and instructor at Dubai Real Estate Institute, conducting a real estate sales and leasing brokerage laws and regulations training in Dubai, Sharjah, and Bahrain. Hiba, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate DLD and DREI partnering with us for our webinars.
Good morning, Lynette. Good morning, everyone, and thanks, Property Finder, for having us on again. And hopefully we can add value in today's session as well.
Thank you, Hiba. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight into the questions. We had so many from the previous webinar, so we're just trying to get to them as much as possible. So first one, are digital signatures accepted for tenancy contracts?
And the simple answer is yes, electronic signatures on tenancy contracts are accepted and honored.
Can you go a little bit into the process for it?
So now we have a digital way for the registration of Ijaris through the Dubai REST application, and it's as simple as the actual landlord accessing the Dubai brokers or the Dubai REST app through putting in either his phone number or the title deed number of the property, and then from there it's a step-by-step process. And in terms of the actual tenancy contract, people can now send it as an attachment, as a PDF attachment, get it signed, upload it, send it to the other party. So there's no need now for the brokers to have to go from one person to another in order to get the actual physical signature. These signatures, as I said, as a PDF or as an electronic signatures, are accepted and honored by RDC in case there's a need for this matter to go into dispute.
That's amazing. Thank you, Hiba. I'm sure everyone on this webinar is relieved and they don't have to be sending posts anymore. So the next question is, what happens to the units which are already under cancellation with Dubai Land Department because of payment default from property purchasers?
So again, good question, but before I answer it directly, I just want to give a little bit of an overview about the existing laws that we have in place, simply because, Lynette, the laws haven't changed. Law number 19 of 2017 amended and built on the procedures contained in law number 13 of 2008. Under this new law, which was again published in 2017, if a buyer breaches its obligations under an off-plan sales contract, the developer can notify the Dubai Land Department about the default, and accordingly, Dubai Land Department will issue a default notice to the buyer, allowing 30 days to remedy the default. In the event the default persists beyond the 30-day notice period, Dubai Land Department may issue an official document stating the developer has fulfilled his legal obligations and specifying the percentage of completion of the property. And after the developer receives this document from Dubai Land Department, the developer may take action without approaching the court or pursuing arbitration. This action is based on the project percentage of completion, and the options are made available to the developer accordingly. So let me just give you an example. If the percentage of completion of the real estate unit is between 60 and 80%, the developer may terminate the sale contract, deduct not more than 40% of the price of the real estate unit that is specified in the off-plan sales contract, and return any excess amount to the buyer or the purchaser within 1 year of the date of the termination of the contract, or within 60 days of the date of reselling the real estate unit to another purchaser, whichever is earlier. A check will be delivered in the name of Dubai Land Department, which is placed in the department's account until the investor comes to receive that amount. So basically, to answer your question directly now, developers have legal rights, but recognizing the unusual circumstances caused by COVID-19, developers might agree to negotiate the payment plan with their clients by allowing more flexible and delayed payment schedules, in line with some banks now offering a 3 months penalty-free repayment option for their financially impacted borrowers, which I'm sure you guys will probably discuss with the mortgage and the banking section after my Q&A. We've already seen many big developers have either given free rent periods or extended payments and waived fines and fees for early termination. You yourself, Lynette, have posted about Dubai Silicon Oasis Authority announcing a package of incentives, exemptions, and flexible payment plans for companies, commercial tenants, and residents to help them cope in today's market conditions. So these measures are being done. People are negotiating. But again, in terms of the law is the law, and people still have to abide by it if there is no agreeable decisions made between the two parties.
Thank you, Hiba. That was very clear and thorough. Thank you. Next question is it possible to transfer property without the buyer inside the country?
Yes, so we have now what we call a digital property transfer process. DLD, the way they do it, if the buyer is out of the country, conducts a video call between the buyer and the seller to confirm the identities of the buyer and the seller and to accredit their signatures to the contract. Once DLD receives all their payments through their new ePay service, it will go ahead with the approval and issue the new title deed. The buyer receives the title deed electronically by email. On the other hand, of course, a buyer who is not resident of the UAE can always appoint a power of attorney.
Okay, and is there, for the transfer, the digital transfer process, is DLD implementing any new procedures?
Yes, so like I mentioned, it's now done electronically, digitally, and they have a new payment system, what they call the new ePay service. I'm gonna have, or DREI will have the details on the whole process in both languages, English and Arabic, very soon. We'll publish it through our LinkedIn, social media, website, and of course, I'll share it on my page as well.
Very good, thank you so much. Okay, next question. RERA issued a no eviction policy for March and April. Will this be extended into May and June?
So we've mentioned this in last week's session. DLD supported His Highness Sheikh Maktoum bin Mohammed directive to stop the rental evictions of houses and commercial establishments, for which a decision was issued to close them due to non-payment of rent during March and April. This was supported by the RDC, checked with the RDC. As of today, they're still reviewing the matter regarding extension, and they will go public with any announcements on how to handle the enforcement of prior decisions and cases involving rental evictions due to non-payment of rent. So I'd say just, you know, hang in there, and we will keep you posted as and when an official announcement is made.
Thank you. Next question. Can real estate valuation firms take permissions and carry out inspections? What is the acceptable process right now for evaluation?
Okay, so I'll comment on the valuation then, of course, being done through DLD, because this is something that I can talk about with 100% conviction. So DLD valuers are conducting valuations these days. There are 3 channels through which a valuation request can be raised: Dubai Rest app, DLD website, and the real estate trustee services. Now, for valuation requests by individuals, this can be raised through the Dubai Rest or DLD website. For companies, these requests will have to be raised through the real estate trustee services. If you guys have any questions on the documentation that's required, of course, always contact DLD's hotline number, 800-4488, or you can also email info@dubailand.gov.ae. There's also live help support that is available to assist you if you encounter any problems or complications with the system. The normal process for conducting valuation is still the same. When a customer applies for evaluation through Dubai Land Department, he or she gives the DLD authority to visit the site. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an overview about how do you go about requesting such processes.
Okay, thank you. We are getting a few questions right now in the webinar, and One has come in, says, when will secondary sale transfers take place physically? How long will this online transfer continue? Is this something that's going to continue even after the lockdown is over as a convenience? Are the registration trustees going to open up right after the lockdown? Do you have any insight into this?
So to be honest with you, I can of course talk about my own opinion in the matter. I don't see why not. As a matter of fact, Lynette, I've gotten so much positive response about having things being done now electronically or through the digital way. There's always been that kind of sense about, do I really need to use a POA? Why do I have to appoint a POA? Of course, recognizing that unfortunately some of the times power of attorney holders complicated the process rather than making things a bit easier. So I really think that the way of doing business post I guess this crisis will change tremendously. Some of the things that we were forced to do just to accommodate and be matter of convenience, I think will be the new way of doing business.
I completely agree with you. During a crisis is when innovation is created. So, and we're seeing this across the board, including at Property Finder. Hiba, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you have to jump off the webinar because you have to get ready for your next webinar at 12 o'clock. We really appreciate you coming on and helping us and our clients.
Thank you, Lynette. And I'm super excited about your new product that you've launched. So I can't wait to see how people start utilizing it in order for us to, again, try to offer the same service, but in a more innovative way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hiba.